The Cthulhu Mythos is a shared fictional universe, based on the work of American horror writer H.P. Lovecraft. The term was first coined by August Derleth, a contemporary correspondent of Lovecraft, who used the name of the creature Cthulhu, a central figure in Lovecraft literature and the focus of Lovecraft's short story The Call of Cthulhu, to identify the system of lore employed by Lovecraft and his literary successors. The writer Richard L. Tierney later applied the term Derleth Mythos to distinguish between Lovecraft's works and Derleth's later stories. Authors of Lovecraftian horror use elements of the mythos in an ongoing expansion of the fictional universe. History. Robert M. Price described, in his essay H.P. Lovecraft and the Cthulhu Mythos, two stages in the development of the Cthulhu Mythos. The first stage, termed the Cthulhu Mythos proper by Price, was formulated during Lovecraft's lifetime and was subject to his guidance. The second stage was guided by August Derleth who, in addition to publishing Lovecraft stories after his death, attempted to categorize and expand the mythos. First stage, an ongoing theme in Lovecraft's work is the complete irrelevance of mankind in the face of the cosmic horrors that apparently exist in the universe. Lovecraft made frequent reference to the Great Old Ones, a loose pantheon of ancient, powerful deities from space who once ruled the earth and who have since fallen into a death-like sleep. This was first established in the Call of Cthulhu, in which the minds of the human characters deteriorated when afforded a glimpse of what exists outside their perceived reality. Lovecraft emphasized the point by stating in the opening sentence of the story that the most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. Writer Dirk W. Mojic notes that Lovecraft was a mechanistic materialist, who embraced the philosophy of cosmic indifferentism. Lovecraft believed in a purposeless, mechanical, and uncaring universe that human beings, with their limited faculties, could never fully understand, and the cognitive dissonance caused by this leads to insanity. Lovecraft's viewpoint made no allowance for religious belief which could not be supported scientifically, with the incomprehensible, cosmic forces of his tales having as little regard for humanity as humans have for insects. There have been attempts at categorizing this fictional group of beings, and Philip A. Scheffler argues that by carefully scrutinizing Lovecraft's writings a workable framework emerges that outlines the entire pantheon from the unreachable outer ones, and great old ones to the lesser castes. David E. Schultz, however, believes Lovecraft never meant to create a canonical mythos but rather intended his imaginary pantheon to merely serve as a background element. Lovecraft himself humorously referred to his mythos as Yog-Sothothery, and at times had to remind readers his mythos creations were entirely fictional. The view that there was no rigid structure is reinforced by S.T. Joshi, who stated Lovecraft's imaginary cosmogony was never a static system but rather a sort of aesthetic construct that remained ever adaptable to its creator's developing personality and altering interests. Here was never a rigid system that might be posthumously appropriated. The essence of the mythos lies not in a pantheon of imaginary deities nor in a cobwebby collection of forgotten tomes, but rather in a certain convincing cosmic attitude. Price, however, believed that Lovecraft's writings could at least be divided into categories and identified three distinct themes: the Dunsanian, Arkham, and Cthulhu cycles. Writer Will Murray noted that while Lovecraft often used his fictional pantheon in the stories he ghostwrote for other authors, he reserved Arkham and its environs exclusively for those tales he wrote under his own name. Although not formalized and acknowledged as a mythos per se, Lovecraft did correspond with contemporary writers and shared story elements. Robert E. Howard's character Friedrich von Junzt reads Lovecraft's Necronomicon in the short story The Children of the Night, and in turn Lovecraft mentions Howard's Unospecific Culton in the stories Out of the Eons, and The Shadow Out of Time. Many of Howard's original unedited Conan stories also form part of the Cthulhu Mythos. Second stage, Price's dichotomy dictates the second stage commenced with August Derleth, the principal difference between Lovecraft and Derleth being the latter's use of hope and that the Cthulhu Mythos essentially represented a struggle between good and evil. Derleth is credited with creating the Elder Gods, and stated, as Lovecraft conceived the deities or forces of his mythos, there were, initially, the Elder Gods. He His elder gods were benign deities, representing the forces of good, and existed peacefully, very rarely stirring forth to intervene in the unceasing struggle between the powers of evil and the races of Earth. These powers of evil were variously known as the Great Old Ones or the Ancient Ones. August Derleth, the Cthulhu Mythos. Price suggests that the basis of Derleth's systemization of found in Lovecraft, stating, was Derleth's use of the rubric elder gods so alien to Lovecraft's In It the Mountains of Madness? Perhaps not. In fact, this very story, along with some hints from the Shadow over Innsmouth, provides the key to the origin of the Derleth Mythos. For in it the Mountains of Madness we find the history of a conflict between two interstellar races, the Elder Ones and the Cthulhu spawn. Derleth himself believed that Lovecraft wished for other authors to actively write about the myth cycle as opposed to it being a discrete plot device. Derleth expanded the boundaries of the mythos by including any passing reference to another author's story elements by Lovecraft as part of the genre, just as Lovecraft made passing reference to Clark Ashton Smith's Book of Ibon. Derleth in turn added Smith's Ubo-Sathler to the mythos. Derleth also attempted to connect the deities of the mythos to the four elements, but was forced to adopt artistic license and create beings to represent certain elements to legitimize his system of classification. In applying the elemental theory to beings that function on a cosmic scale, some authors created a separate category termed aethic. Derleth matched earth against fire and air against water, which is inconsistent with the classical elements pairings. Lovecraft mythos, a lesser-known term employed by the scholar St. Joshi to describe the works of Lovecraft. Joshi identified four key elements in Lovecraft's mythos, being the fundamental principle of cosmicism, the imaginary New England setting, a pantheon of recurring pseudo-mythological entities and a collection of arcane books that supposedly yield insights into the mythology. See also, Cthulhu Mythos Anthology, Cthulhu Mythos Arcane Literature, Cthulhu Mythos Biographies, Cthulhu Mythos Deities, Cthulhu Mythos in Popular Culture, Dreamlands, Elements of the Cthulhu Mythos, Notes. References, Books, Block, Robert. Heritage of Horror. The Best of H.P. Lovecraft, Blood-Curdling Tales of Horror and the Macabre. Ballantine Books. ISBN A0-345-35080-4, Block, Robert. Strange Eons. Whispers Press. ISBN A978-0-918372-30-7, Derleth, August. The Cthulhu Mythos. Tales of the Cthulhu Mythos. Sauk City, Wisconsin, Arkham Hauser, Burleson, Donald A. The Lovecraft Mythos. In Frank N. McGill. Survey of Science Fiction Literature. Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, Salem Press ppA 1284 €8. ISBN A978-089356-197-0. Harms, Daniel. The Encyclopedia Cthulhiana. Chaosium, Incorporated. ISBN A978-1-56882-119-1. Jens, Tina. Cthulhu and the Coeds, Kids and Squids. Chicago, Illinois, Twilight Tales. Joshi, S.T.H.P. Lovecraft. Mercer Island, Washington, Starmont House. ISBN A978-916,732-36-3. Lovecraft, Howard P. 1928. The Call of Cthulhu. In St. Joshi. The Call of Cthulhu and Other Weird Stories. London, UK. New York, New York, Penguin Books. ISBN A-Mojig, Yozun Dirk W. Mojig. At Last, A Psychologist Looks at H.P. Lovecraft. West Warwick, Rhode Island, Necronomicon Press. ISBN A978-940884-90-8. Murray, Will. In Search of Arkham Country I. In James Van Hise. The Fantastic Worlds of H.P. Lovecraft. Yucca Valley, California, James Van Hise. No ISBN. Price, Robert M. Introduction. in Robert M. Price. The New Lovecraft Circle, New York, New York, Random House, Incorporated. ISBN A978-0-345-44406-6. Price, Robert M. Lovecraft's Artificial Mythology. In David E. Schultz and S. T. Joshi. An Epicure in the Terrible, a centennial anthology of essays in honor of H. P. Lovecraft. Rutherford, New Jersey and Cranbury, New Jersey, Fairleigh Dickinson University Press and Associated University Presses. ISBN A978-0-8386-3415-8. Schultz, David E. 1987. Who Needs the Cthulhu Mythos? In Scott Connors. A Century Less a Dream, Selected Criticism on H. P. Lovecraft. Hollycombe, PA, Wildside Press. ISBN A978-1-58715-215-3. Schweitzer, Darrell. Discovering H. P. Lovecraft. Helical, PA, Wildside Press. ISBN A978-1-58715-471-3. Schwer, Philip A. The H. P. Lovecraft Companion. Westport, Connecticut and London, England, Greenwood Press. ISBN A978-0-8371-9482-0. Turner, James. Eocurrency. Eocurrency. Cthulhu FHTAGN. Tales of the Cthulhu Mythos. Random House. ISBN A978-0-345-42204-0. Thomas, Frank Walter. Watchers of the Light. Lake Forest Park, Washington, Lake Forest Park Books. ISBN A978-0-9774464-0. Journals, August, Derleth, 1937. H. P. Lovecraft Outsider. Crypt of Cthulhu No. 93, a pulp thriller and theological journal 15. Robert M. Price, West Warwick, Rhode Island, Necronomicon Press. Original publication, Derleth. H. P. Lovecraft Outsider. River Warner, Ziemianowicz, Stefan. Diver's Hands. Crypt of Cthulhu No. 80, a post-structuralist thriller and theological journal 11. Robert M. Price, West Warwick, Rhode Island, Necronomicon Press. Price, Robert M. H. P. Lovecraft and the Cthulhu Mythos. Crypt of Cthulhu No. 35, a pulp thriller and theological journal 5. Robert M. Price, Mount Olive, North Carolina, Cryptic Publications. Further reading, Carter, Lynn. Lovecraft, A Look Behind the Cthulhu Mythos. New York, New York, Ballantine Books. ISBN A0-345-02427-3. External links, Lovecraft Archive, Joshi, S.T. H. P. Lovecraft. The Scriptorium. Retrieved July 20, 2005. The Virtual World of H. P. Lovecraft, a mapping of Lovecraft's imaginary version of New England.